Films Gone Wild. We are going to talk about the film Dinner in America. We have the writer-director Adam Rehmeier with us. Adam, welcome to Films Gone Wild.
Hey, hey, hey.
All right. You know that I've been looking forward to talking to you about this movie yet again. We had an awesome interview at Sundance.
Correct.
But let's start this off by you introducing our audience who have not yet seen the movie as to what Dinner in America is about.
Dinner in America, I just feel the really short answer, it's a punk rock love story. That's what it is. It's a punk rock love story.
Right. Okay. Let's leave it at that because I want people to discover this film. I'm gonna start this off by saying two things. One, I was rewatching the movie. My wife comes in and she starts watching it with me, and she says to me, "Is this the end of the movie?" And I go, "Oh no, this is just the beginning."
Jesus Christ. I love that. Yes. No, it's just starting now. She came for dinner. She came for the dinner sequence, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Wow.
And so then I was thinking, to me, I was like, well, how do if I was describing it to somebody else, I go, how would I describe this movie again without getting into plot details and everything? And I think I settled on it. I think the movie is like having you giving the finger and laughing maniacally as you were inviting us into your house, right? That to me, as I was rewatching it, like going, that's the movie to me. That's the attitude of the movie that I just love. It's just over and over again. It's just maniacal in that way. And I just love it so goddamn much. So,
now I've had, since Sundance too, I've had a lot more time to process things, because I think there's the part of you that runs on intuition when you're making something, and then I didn't have a very big reflection period about the film itself when, like at Sundance and stuff, because I think I had been working up to January 14th was my last day on the film. So that was only 10 days or so before our premiere. Yeah. So, now I've had a lot of time. So
exactly. Well, all right. Well, again, the truth is I could just talk on and on about the movie. As you know, I've already expressed how much I love the damn thing. But let's talk about this. And this is something that, again, we touched upon when we talked earlier, but I want to readdress it because it's super awesome, is your cast that you had to work with.
Yeah.
And, and we're talking not just Kyle Gallner and Emily Skeggs, who are just the heart and soul in every way about this movie. But when you talk about, Leah Thompson and Pat Healy and Marilyn Raxcliffe and Hannah Marks, all these other
Griffin Gluck, Griffin was great. David Yao, they're all like.
I mean, you just have this amazing cast of veterans and really great comic and also character voices within there. And so what I want to talk to you about is directing them. And because you're a director and you're on the set with that mix, and you have to get people at the certain equal levels, right? In those big group scenes.
Yeah.
Talk about how you managed that. You worked with them individually and worked with them as a group to all get them to kind of coalesce into the same space.
It's energy management, that's your job. It's like, and I mean, it's like I'm more of an intuitive person, so it's less talking about what it is. Like for the actors, I just meet with them and we vibe, and if they're like a day player, and we're just doing this thing, it's just it's just about being like, I've been crew for 20 years too, and it's just about being comfortable, because people come in with their own thoughts about what everything is and these sides that they have, and they're doing this scene. Obviously with Kyle and Emily, you have weeks of preparation, there's stuff prior to them even getting there that you're doing. But for the day players, I just try to be really loose and flexible with it. And I like me personally, I feel like you get so much more like you bring people in that you want in the film. You know, you do, the hardest part is really casting, you know, because, you know, it's, for me, it's like 90% of it, because they're bringing that essence that you want. Like, it's a lot of hard work though. You got to go sort through endlessly and find people. And some, you know, it's for a low budget film too, it can get difficult. I mean, Dinner in America, I think there's like about 70 speaking parts in the film. And also by design, it's always moving. It's hardly a stable film in like one location. So the most we ever did on the film in our schedule was we were at the Patty's house for 1 week. That was as long as we were anywhere else. I think was 2 days and under for everything else. So you're just, and I think there's like 70 some locations in the movie. So you're just bounce. Next thing, you know, we got everything on trucks and we're moving. So you have to have all of those actors have to be good. They all move, like they move Simon's narrative, they move Patty's, like they move those things along. So they have to be good. And because we're not sticking on them, like we very rarely came back to people, you know?
Right.
So
and the other thing what's wonderful about them is that they're big personalities.
right.
And it doesn't mean they're big.
No, they're cartoonish. They're cartoonish. It's okay.
But,
no, they really are though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but within that, but listen, there's big cartoonish, like there's big,
Right.
like there's Mad TV big cartoonish.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And then there's what's in Dinner in America, and I think which then segues into what the next thing I wanted to talk to you about, because I think it's done so great in the film with how just confrontationally funny it is the tonality, and because at any point you can go off the rails with that, right?
Yeah. It's a fine line. It's an absolute fine line.
Yeah, but you you and the cast managed not to cross over that line for us to then to tune it out, right? Yeah. And I think you touched on it a little bit with Kyle and Emily, with again the heart that they also brought into these characters that are iconographic style of characters, but they're able to again give us a center to actually give a damn about them at the same time. So I would love for you to talk about that, about the transition from script to that staging, to what you did on set, to then even the editing process. So yeah, I love it. You didn't go with Rice. Talk about that.
Well, I mean, and what you brought up is like literally the part that I'm the most flexible with, because I'm gonna as Truffaut pointed out, there is the film that you write, film that you shoot, and the film that you edit, and they're all different films. So I have an idea on when it's on the page. More than anything, there's a rhythm there. The very first thing I ever sketched in this film was Simon walking, because my parents live in Nebraska, and I was back over the holidays in 2006, and it had snowed, and I wanted to go walk in the, out in the street, because it's very quiet and cool when it snows. And the trucks had come and had plowed, and they had shot the sand and the sand and the salt out on it. And when I was walking, the sound of my boots was the rhythm for Simon. And it put a series of, it was the stuff at Naltech in the beginning, at the clinical trial thing, all the way like him getting with this girl and going home with them and having this this dinner, and then the girl goes to take a shower and he goes for the mom, and then a turkey ends up going through the window. All of it was in there, except there was a dog, which we started to shoot in the movie and we got rid of because the dog fucking sucked. It was the weak link. It was a cool dog, but it was never gonna work. And that's one of those things you see right away, and you just don't. You get that fucking dog out, just done. I don't think I'm going to do a movie with animals anytime soon.
Yeah. Steer clear of animals and be careful of having to buy music. Those are like the things that are just every director dreads,
Kids are a
right?
pain in the ass too, like
Yes.
to work, like to do the, the shit with on camera time and all of that. That's a nightmare. Like that's like,
Right.
fuck.
All right. I want to finish up with this.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
with this question, and that
Oh,
is
hold on. I maybe I didn't even, I don't even think I finished that. But my point was that there's the film that you shoot. I'm sorry, the film that you write, the film that you shoot, and when you get to set and you meet Kyle, his energy might not be exactly what you had in mind, but he's like-minded, he's malleable. Like then you start, he brings something to the table. He tells you what, his thoughts on Simon are. And so it's already gone from like a script and it's this one thing, and now it sort of mutates into this other thing. And then when you get to editorial, you've got all of these options and choices, and you've got rhythm to play with. You've got, a score that's going to weave through and have themes and different things. That's, sound design is going to play a huge part of it. So, you have choices with the takes, the little gifts that the actors give you. Like they're all so special. You're like, I can go this direction with the film, or I can cut this scene entirely. Do it, there's just so many things. It becomes a whole other thing. So I think that, my biggest takeaway always with process is just being really flexible, like, and, working with the elements that you can control at each phase, that like, because it's just, it's, unless you're going to do expensive reshoots, once you're done, you're done. And,
right.
It's like, I argue too, like on a lower budget film, like, or something like this, it's like, it's hard to come back in,
Right.
after
Right.
I've done that on films before where we came back 6 months later and shot some stuff, or a year later. It doesn't ever quite feel right to me. So.
Well, and actually, I want to finish up with one more question, and let's do it on this one, which is following up on what you just said. Especially in a film like this, when you do have different options on takes, and you're in the editing bay, sometimes you go, "This is hilarious."
Mhm.
However, this other approach is more true to the film that we have now.
Yeah.
And can you give me a specific instance, like a sequence or a moment in Dinner America where you actually liked one version of it, one take, or or one section, but you actually opted to go a different direction because for the health, so to speak, of the movie,
Yeah.
it makes sense to go with this other direction. Can you give us
Yeah.
just one
The opening shot of the film, that is a rehearsal take that I did. Opening shot of Kyle is a rehearsal take, and I opted to go for it because I feel like Rick, our AC, had pulled focus to the wrong cheek, and I had told him I wanted to flip flop it. I said, no, I'd rather have the near side in focus. And but this, on the take that I use, it's not. And I liked that it was a little out of focus until he turned his head to the guy, and then it kind of shifted. It was just, and that whole sequence too. Initially, this was the day that was shot, was one of the most shit days of the film, where things didn't work. We were really behind, and I did not get like coverage the way that I wanted to. So my compromise was, instead of focusing on like external things away from Simon, just to put him front and center and just start it that way. Because in the grand scheme of things, I was just like, well, we're going to be moving so much in this film, it doesn't really matter. We don't need to see these other things. And frankly, there wasn't anything really that great to see. But I had all of, it was kind of like it was a sequence that happened of like close-ups and different things from the medical, thing. it would have been like, it would have been perfect in a $50 million film, you know, with trailers and shit going, but not for this, you know. It was like, didn't make sense, and it was just better to start on him. And I like that take when I got to deep in editorial, and you know, after I had done a pass on it, you know, what I had didn't fit, and so I looked through all the takes, and that rehearsal take was valuable to me. I was like, well, this is more like what I want, but it's a little soft right here. And then the softness really, and it hasn't, since I selected it, bothered me. So
Right.
that's a really good example of one that I kind of toiled over, but I really grew to just love that it was so simple and just started on Simon, just started right on it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think it all works. Again, the film is Dinner in America. Been talking with Adam Rehmeier. The film is screening at the Sound Unseen Film and Music Film Festival. Adam, it's great talking to you about the movie.
Thank you, brother. Nice talking to you.